If you want to achieve real success, the most important skill you can develop is focus, and not the kind everyone talks about. This audiobook will show you how to work quietly, protect your goals, and build unstoppable discipline without announcing your every move. You'll discover why keeping your efforts private strengthens your energy, sharpens your skills, and makes your results speak louder than words ever could. Every chapter is packed with actionable steps to help you plan smarter, execute with precision, and grow stronger every day. You'll learn how to avoid distractions, resist envy, and turn consistent effort into tangible achievements. If you're tired of wasting energy on approval or explaining your journey, this audiobook is for you. Watch closely, apply what you learn, and let your results do the talking. Subscribe to Audiobook every day now and start transforming your life silently but powerfully. Number 1. Silence builds focus. Noise distracts. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is a presence that makes room for thought. When the world is loud, attention fractures into 1,000 bright, shallow sparks. When silence is chosen, attention becomes a single, steady flame. That flame transforms ordinary effort into work that matters. The most consistent performers do not seek applause as they build, they seek quiet, and in that quiet, they sharpen skill, practice patience, and let results do the speaking. This is not mysticism, it is the practical discipline of protecting attention, training focus, and producing measurable progress day after day. Begin by recognizing what breaks focus. Small notifications, the urge to check a message, a stray thought about someone's opinion, the itch to announce progress, each of these pulls energy away. Attention is a resource, and it leaks whenever it is exposed to distraction. The first step is to treat attention like money. Guard it. Budget it. Decide in advance where it will be spent. When attention is guarded, work becomes deliberate instead of accidental. Create a ritual that signals the brain to enter focused work. Rituals are anchors for attention. A ritual can be as simple as closing the door, placing a single object on the desk, a notebook, a stone, a pen, and turning off notifications. It can be preparing a cup of tea and feeling its warmth in the hands, taking 3 steady breaths, then writing a single sentence that defines the hour's aim. The point is consistency. The brain learns the pattern and begins to cooperate. Over time, a 5-minute ritual will shorten the gap between decision and deep work. This is a direct route to productivity. Design the environment so that distraction is more difficult than focus. Remove visual clutter. Put the phone in a drawer or another room. Use apps only when necessary, and schedule them in clear windows. If email is a drain, check it twice daily at fixed times. If social media is a trap, block it during focus windows. Small changes to the physical world yield large changes in mental states. Light, temperature, and sound matter. Natural light steadies mood. Slightly cool air improves alertness. Neutral background noise or silence aids concentration. Add a low-level sensory cue, an essential oil, a particular playlist saved only for work, or an amber lamp that signals the brain that the work hour has begun. These cues reduce the number of decisions that steal energy. Break work into clear, measurable units. The most effective focus emerges from clear boundaries. Decide the mission for a session in a single sentence. What will be accomplished by what metric in this block of time? Example: write 1,000 words or finish 3 sections of the outline. Commit to the block. During the block, commit to one activity only. Single tasking is an act of courage in a distracted culture, but it pays. Use a timer, 45 to 90 minutes, depending on the task, followed by a short break. This rhythm trains sustained attention and prevents the slow, grinding fatigue that results from constant context switching. Silence is not only external, inner chatter can be louder than any notification. Thoughts about failure, comparison, or approval consume energy. A practical way to quiet inner noise is to translate vague anxieties into concrete tasks. If a part of the mind says, "What if this fails?" write that question down. Then break it into smaller steps and assign the next immediate action. The mind is often relieved by clarity. When the what if is reduced to specific experiments, worry loses fuel and focus gains it. Practice a daily habit of reflection that feeds silence with clarity. At the end of each focused session, note one measurable result and one next step. This habit builds an internal scoreboard that is private but objective. Progress becomes a series of small, undeniable facts rather than a search for validation. Over weeks, that private ledger will reveal patterns, the hours when creative energy is strongest, the tasks that require deeper quiet, the mistakes that repeat. Use this data to redesign the next week's work windows. The goal is to become a deliberate architect of attention, not its victim. Guarding attention often means guarding speech. There is a natural temptation to broadcast plans, to seek approval early, or to build an audience for the promise of future work. Speaking every idea into the void weakens resolve. When goals are kept private, momentum is earned, not borrowed. If asked, offer a brief, neutral reply instead of an elaborate explanation. A short sentence that states the fact without seeking reaction protects focus. Working on a project, leave the details for results. Privacy is not secrecy. It is a discipline of withholding consumption of others' reactions until the work can stand on its own. Silence creates a feedback loop of discipline. As work becomes more private and focused, the quality of output improves. Better output invites attention only after it is deserved. This is the Stoic path. Control the controllable effort, time, attention, and accept that recognition is an indifferent external. Place effort within a framework of inner standards. Define personal criteria for excellence and test work against them. When the standard is internal, it is stable. External praise is unpredictable and often distracting. Quiet mastery produces sustainable satisfaction. Use the body to anchor focus. The mind and body are linked. A brief movement routine before a session, 5 minutes of stretching, a short walk, or a few breathing cycles reduces cortisol and centers attention. Grounding the body reduces anxiety and increases tolerance for sustained work. Pay attention to posture. A slightly reclined position invites daydreaming. Sitting upright signals readiness. Touch the surface of the desk. Feel the pen. Let the senses confirm presence. Small somatic checks keep the mind from slipping into scatter. Measure progress with outcomes, not ego. Track output. Pages written, features finished, calls completed, experiments run. Do not measure by how loudly progress is announced. Grow the habit of comparing today with yesterday rather than today with others. Small, consistent gains compound into significant outcomes. If the aim is to build a product, aim for a working prototype in a finite time, then iterate. If the aim is to write, aim for consistent, readable chunks. Silence supports iteration because it frees the mind to correct and improve without the pressure of public expectation. Practice scheduled solitude. Block time on the calendar labeled think or build and treat it as non-negotiable. Protect this time as if it were a meeting with a valued mentor. Decline interruptions politely and firmly. A short script helps. This is my focus window, will follow up after X. The skill of saying no is not rude. It is a trade-off that invests in long-term returns. Respect others' time the same way. When boundaries are modeled, they reinforce each other. Expect resistance. Silence invites discomfort because the brain has been trained to seek novelty. The first days of deep focus can feel strange or restless. That is a sign of growth. Meet the discomfort with small wins. Complete a task, check the scoreboard, and acknowledge the progress privately. The most disciplined people are not immune to resistance. They develop methods to move through it. One method is micro-engagement. Set a 5-minute timer and commit to one tiny step. Often the hardest part is starting. Once momentum begins, continued progress becomes easier. Create a prompt for the start of each session that is practical and immediate. Keep it short. A single sentence intention, a metric to hit, a time limit. For example, draft the introduction in 60 minutes, then begin. Use the first 5 minutes to warm into the work with sensory focus. Scan the surroundings, breathe, and touch the page. This reduces the chance of wandering into unrelated tasks. When an intrusive thought appears, write it down and return to the present task. The mind will trust that it won't be ignored indefinitely, and intrusions will reduce. Adopt a weekly review focused on attention. Once a week, list the times when focus was strong and the times when it was weak. Identify causes: sleep, nutrition, meetings, or digital interruptions. Create one change to implement the next week. This incremental approach prevents overwhelm and produces steady improvement. The practice of reviewing attention is itself an act of silence. It is an inward audit that elevates long-term performance. Silence also cultivates resilience. When work is private, setbacks are private. Setbacks become data rather than public drama. This reduces the emotional roller coaster that comes from exposing every failure and success to opinion. Silence fosters composure. When criticism appears, it is easier to evaluate it calmly. When praise appears, it is easier to accept it without needing more. The person who practices silence gains an internal equilibrium that strengthens decision-making under pressure. Begin with a simple experiment. For 7 days, block a single 2-hour window each morning for focused work. During this time, eliminate notifications, close unrelated tabs, and commit to one measurable objective. Keep a short log. What was done, how many focused minutes were achieved, and one observation about energy. After 7 days, review the log and choose one habit to keep and one to discard. This fast cycle experiment provides immediate feedback and begins the habit-building loop. Silence is a skill that compounds. A single quiet hour will not transform a life, but repeated quiet hours will. The work accumulates into expertise, and expertise opens doors that announcements alone cannot create. The path is rarely glamorous. It requires repetition, humility, and a willingness to be unknown for a time. That unknown phase is the crucible where competence forms. Embrace it. Protect attention, cultivate rituals, measure outcomes. The quieter the work, the louder the results. Number 2. Work quietly. Let success speak. Success is rarely the result of noise. True achievement is quiet, deliberate, and built behind the scenes, far from the eyes of those who measure worth by appearances rather than results. Working quietly is not about hiding out of fear or shame. It is about investing energy in actions that matter rather than in commentary that distracts. The louder the world becomes, the more valuable silent diligence becomes. Each action taken in focus without fanfare compounds into results that speak for themselves. There is power in being underestimated, in letting others' assumptions about your capacity remain untested until your work delivers undeniable proof. The first step in cultivating this approach is understanding the cost of unnecessary exposure. Talking about plans, sharing unfinished ideas, or publicizing intentions can fragment energy and reduce momentum. Every conversation about what is coming soon is energy spent without creation. Every notification, post, or discussion about progress before results are in is an opportunity lost to refine, improve, and execute. Work quietly, not as an act of secrecy, but as a strategy to preserve momentum, avoid distraction, and create space for excellence. The focus should always be on execution, not explanation. The next principle is prioritizing action over approval. Many people equate being seen with being effective, but visibility is not a measure of impact. Progress is measured in tangible outcomes, in the evidence of improvement, and in skills mastered. By removing the expectation of external validation, it becomes possible to pursue work in a purer form. Attention shifts from crafting appearances to shaping outcomes. Energy that once went into seeking recognition is now available for sustained, high-quality effort. This is the quiet advantage. Those who labor in private accumulate power, while others are busy performing for attention. Building systems to support quiet work is essential. Structure the day around blocks of uninterrupted time, where the only objective is measurable progress. Designate periods to focus exclusively on tasks that move the needle. Treat these windows as inviolable. Communicate boundaries clearly when necessary, and use environmental cues to reinforce concentration. A clean workspace, minimal digital interruptions, and a clear objective transform ordinary hours into productive sessions. Each hour spent in focused labor is a seed planted, often invisible at first, but growing steadily beneath the surface. Patience is a cornerstone of letting success speak. Results require time to mature. Effort invested today may not produce visible change tomorrow, next week, or even next month. The key is to maintain consistent application, trusting that the compounding effect of small, deliberate actions eventually manifests. It is easy to become frustrated when work seems invisible, but those who persist quietly gain an advantage. They have built substance while others have built stories. The discipline to continue without immediate recognition is what separates temporary performers from long-term achievers. Avoid the trap of over-explaining. Explaining your process, defending your choices, or justifying your plans can drain energy and invite unnecessary criticism. Instead, focus on perfecting the craft. Let your efforts form a body of work that communicates competence and dedication without words. Excellence is inherently persuasive. When output consistently demonstrates quality, depth, and impact, explanations become redundant. Quiet work does not require applause. It demands consistency and integrity. Learning to embrace humility is crucial. Quiet workers do not need to dominate conversations or insist upon acknowledgement. They recognize that real influence is earned through results, not rhetoric. Humility does not mean diminishing ambition. It means channeling energy into what produces meaningful outcomes. When pride is invested in production rather than projection, the results naturally attract respect. Silence is a tool for focus and strength, not for invisibility born in security. Developing routines that support this approach is practical. Start each day by identifying the highest priority task and commit to completing it without interruption. Use time-blocking techniques to ensure that essential work is accomplished before attending to less critical tasks. Incorporate micro-reviews at the end of each session. Note what was completed, evaluate effectiveness, and plan the immediate next step. Over time, these small, disciplined actions accumulate into significant accomplishments. Quiet, deliberate action is reinforced by structure and repetition, creating an environment where results flourish naturally. Guarding the quality of work is as important as guarding its privacy. Do not settle for partial completion or superficial effort simply to claim progress. High-quality execution produces results that endure, while rushed work produces noise without impact. Excellence attracts attention naturally. Mediocrity requires constant explanation and promotion. When work is carried out with care, attention to detail, and consistent refinement, success becomes inevitable. Let each task be an opportunity to refine skill and improve outcomes without concern for immediate acknowledgement. Trust in delayed gratification strengthens the commitment to quiet work. Immediate recognition is often less valuable than long-term impact. The temptation to announce small victories can dilute the sense of achievement derived from meaningful results. The patience to work silently, to endure the discomfort of invisibility, and to focus on the substance of effort rather than the optics of progress is a defining characteristic of those who achieve enduring success. By resisting the urge to broadcast early, energy is preserved for refining skill and creating lasting results. The social dimension cannot be ignored. People may question or misunderstand the decision to work quietly. Friends, colleagues, and even mentors may inquire about progress or push for updates. Respond minimally and strategically without revealing unfinished plans or partial achievements. A simple acknowledgement suffices. This creates a protective buffer, allowing energy to flow toward creation rather than explanation. Over time, the work itself becomes the most convincing response to curiosity or doubt. When output finally appears, it commands attention precisely because it was unexpected and fully formed. Focus on mastery rather than recognition. Every hour spent in quiet, deliberate practice is a step toward mastery in the chosen field. The quiet hours accumulate, skill improves, and judgment sharpens. Recognition becomes an after effect, not a motivator. Working quietly creates a self-reinforcing loop. Attention to craft produces skill, skill produces results. Results produce recognition. By concentrating on the first link in this chain, dedicated work, everything else follows naturally. Recognition is no longer chased. It arrives organically as a consequence of competence and consistency. Silence also cultivates resilience. Working quietly exposes weaknesses and failures in a controlled environment. Mistakes are confronted without public scrutiny, allowing honest evaluation and correction. This strengthens both skill and confidence. The person who labors privately has the opportunity to iterate, experiment, and improve without fear of judgment. Resilience grows in the absence of external pressure, and the lessons learned in quiet are far more deeply integrated than those learned under constant observation. The habit of recording progress privately enhances accountability. Journaling completed tasks, noting lessons learned, and tracking metrics creates a personal archive of achievement. Reviewing this archive regularly provides perspective, motivation, and a measure of growth. It replaces the need for external validation with internal evidence. Success in this context is self-evident, measurable, and motivating. Over time, the accumulation of quietly documented progress produces both confidence and insight. Consistency is non-negotiable. Sporadic bursts of work, followed by public announcements, are less effective than a sustained, quiet effort. Schedule time daily for focused, uninterrupted work. Treat this schedule as sacred, protect it from distractions, interruptions, and obligations that do not align with core objectives. The rhythm of consistent action compounds in ways that are often invisible at first but unmistakable over time. Long-term gains emerge not from one dramatic effort, but from the steady accumulation of disciplined, private work. Finally, celebrate results silently. Acknowledge progress internally, savor the growth, and let the outcomes communicate externally. The satisfaction derived from knowing that effort, discipline, and skill have combined to produce tangible results is deeper and more sustaining than public praise. Success is amplified when it is earned quietly, and its impact resonates precisely because it was built through intention, focus, and integrity. Work quietly. Let the world witness the results. That is the essence of disciplined achievement. Number 3. Plan privately. Execute with precision. Success begins with clarity, and clarity emerges from deliberate planning. Planning privately is more than writing down goals. It is the careful crafting of a roadmap, where every step has purpose and every action aligns with long-term outcomes. Private planning allows freedom to think deeply, to test ideas, and to refine strategies without the pressure of external judgment. When plans are formulated internally, they are guided by reality, logic, and personal standards rather than by the fleeting opinions of others. This privacy cultivates precision because decisions are made from a place of understanding and strategy rather than from the need to impress or explain. The first principle of private planning is specificity. General intentions like "I want to improve" or "I want to succeed" are insufficient. Success is a product of clearly defined actions and measurable objectives. Break every goal into concrete, actionable steps. Identify what needs to be done, when it will be done, and the criteria for completion. Each plan should contain a timeline, measurable outcomes, and contingencies for obstacles. This level of detail transforms abstract aspirations into executable actions. Clarity removes indecision, reduces wasted effort, and ensures that when work begins, it is purposeful and directed. Private planning also protects ideas from premature exposure. Sharing plans too early invites unsolicited opinions, judgment, and even subtle discouragement. Others may unintentionally impose their limitations on your vision. By keeping plans private, it is possible to iterate freely, test strategies, and make adjustments without external interference. Mistakes become lessons, and improvements happen quietly. This approach creates an environment where innovation thrives, because ideas are allowed to mature internally before being exposed to external evaluation. Precision in execution flows naturally from private planning. Once a plan is carefully developed, the next step is to translate it into action with discipline. Every task should be approached with full attention and deliberate intent. Begin by prioritizing the most impactful actions first, the tasks that will move the overall plan forward significantly. Avoid multitasking or splitting focus between unrelated activities. By executing each step methodically, small gains compound into substantial progress. Precision means avoiding wasted motion, eliminating distractions, and performing each task to the highest standard possible at the moment. Preparation is key to precise execution. Gather the necessary resources, information, and tools before beginning any task. Anticipate challenges and design solutions in advance. When obstacles appear, having anticipated responses allows action to continue without disruption. Private planning provides the opportunity to identify these potential hurdles and create strategies to overcome them efficiently. Execution becomes smooth and intentional rather than reactive and fragmented. The more detailed the preparation, the more confident and controlled the performance. Timing is another critical factor. Planning privately allows for careful consideration of when each action should occur. Some tasks require energy and focus, while others are better suited for periods of lower intensity. Aligning execution with natural rhythms of productivity maximizes efficiency. By observing personal patterns and preferences, it is possible to schedule high-stakes or complex tasks during peak cognitive periods. Execution at the wrong time can waste effort, while precise alignment ensures that each step receives the attention and energy it requires. Accountability in private planning is internal rather than external. Traditional methods of accountability often rely on public announcements or shared goals, but these can dilute personal responsibility. By committing plans privately and tracking progress internally, the focus remains on results rather than appearances. Use a personal journal, task tracker, or digital log to record each step completed and the outcomes achieved. Internal accountability strengthens self-discipline and reinforces a mindset of ownership. The work is done because it must be done, not because anyone is watching or expecting commentary. Flexibility is an essential aspect of precise execution. While plans must be detailed, they should also allow room for adaptation when unforeseen circumstances arise. Private planning enables the creation of contingency strategies without panic or public scrutiny. If a step fails or an obstacle emerges, adjustments can be made quietly and efficiently. Execution does not falter because the plan was rigidly broadcasted or dependent on external approval. Precision is maintained when the individual remains in control of decision-making, adapting intelligently without losing sight of the overarching objective. Prioritization ensures that effort is directed toward tasks with the highest impact. Not all actions carry equal weight in achieving a goal. Private planning allows for thoughtful assessment of which tasks will generate the greatest progress. Rank actions according to their potential contribution and sequence them strategically. Begin with the activities that will produce immediate, tangible results and set a foundation for subsequent tasks. Precision in execution is amplified when effort is intentionally allocated to the most important activities rather than being diffused across low-impact efforts. Reflection is a powerful tool in private planning and precise execution. At the end of each day or session, review what was accomplished, what worked well, and where improvements are needed. Use this insight to adjust future actions. Reflection transforms execution from a mechanical process into a deliberate, evolving practice. The feedback loop strengthens both planning and performance, allowing each subsequent step to be more refined, efficient, and impactful. Continuous improvement emerges naturally when work is monitored internally and insights are applied methodically. Silence and focus reinforce precision. When plans are executed without broadcasting every step, energy is reserved for actual work rather than for conversation or persuasion. Talking about progress consumes time, attention, and mental space that could be directed toward refining actions or producing results. By staying private, each step is performed fully. Mistakes are corrected quietly, and improvements are integrated seamlessly. Precision is achieved because energy is concentrated on doing rather than discussing. Confidence grows from repeated cycles of planning and precise execution. When each action is deliberate, outcomes become predictable and mastery develops over time. Private planning builds confidence because it creates a sense of control over both process and outcome. Execution with precision reinforces self-trust. The individual learns to rely on their own judgment, skills, and preparation rather than seeking validation from others. This internal foundation is more stable, resilient, and reliable than any external recognition. The benefits of planning privately and executing with precision extend beyond productivity. This practice cultivates discipline, strengthens patience, and fosters a deeper understanding of personal capacity. Each completed task reinforces the belief that effort and skill, rather than luck or attention, produce meaningful results. Over time, competence becomes visible without needing constant explanation. Actions become a reflection of values, integrity, and capability, demonstrating achievement in a way that is both undeniable and compelling. Begin implementing this approach by setting aside dedicated time for private planning. Write down clear objectives, outline actionable steps, and anticipate challenges. Next, transition from planning to execution with deliberate focus, following each step carefully and monitoring outcomes. Maintain internal accountability, review progress regularly, and adjust plans as needed. Protect attention, prioritize tasks strategically, and perform every action with conscious effort. Repeat this cycle consistently, and results will accumulate steadily and reliably. Ultimately, planning privately and executing with precision is about mastering the connection between intention and action. Thoughtful, silent planning creates a map. Disciplined execution transforms that map into reality. The combination of preparation, focus, prioritization, and internal accountability cultivates a powerful rhythm of progress. While the world may rush to announce intentions and broadcast efforts, those who commit to quiet, deliberate practice consistently achieve more, perform with higher quality, and produce results that speak louder than any words. This is the art of moving from vision to accomplishment, where careful planning fuels precise action and sustained discipline produces outcomes that are undeniable and lasting. Number 4. Guard goals. Reveal only results. Goals are fragile when exposed too early. Sharing intentions can unintentionally dilute motivation, invite criticism, and create unnecessary pressure. Every conversation about what is being pursued before it is achieved allows external forces to influence energy and focus. Guarding goals is not secrecy born of fear. It is discipline, born of understanding how momentum and concentration work. When goals are protected, every effort is reserved for action, experimentation, and skill building rather than for persuasion, explanation, or defending choices. Revealing only results allows work to exist unchallenged until it demonstrates value and impact on its own terms. Begin by defining the goal with clarity and precision. Privately, the clearer the objective, the easier it is to protect and pursue without distraction. Goals should be measurable, actionable, and tied to a timeline. Abstract wishes, like "be successful," are vulnerable because they lack criteria for evaluation. Specific goals, such as increase monthly output by 20% within 3 months, or launch a product prototype by the end of the quarter, are concrete and actionable. Defining goals this way internally allows progress to be tracked in reality rather than in public perception, creating a roadmap that is resistant to external interference. Understand that exposure can compromise execution. Every time goals are shared, there is a psychological transaction. Approval seeking, advice giving, and unsolicited opinions draw energy away from work. People may underestimate, overestimate, or redirect your focus, intentionally or not. By keeping intentions private, energy is reserved for preparation, skill development, and incremental progress. The mind remains aligned with reality, unshaken by praise or doubt, and actions remain consistent and deliberate. Protection of goals is an act of self-respect and commitment to the work itself, not a rejection of others. Develop a system to track progress internally. Private goals require prior accountability. Maintain a journal, spreadsheet, or digital log where progress, challenges, and milestones are recorded without the need to justify them externally. This creates a feedback loop that fuels motivation internally rather than depending on applause or recognition. Observing progress in concrete terms enhances focus and resilience, because growth becomes visible through tangible results rather than through the opinions of others. The habit of logging and reflecting turns small steps into measurable momentum. Focus every day on tasks that directly advance the goal. Guarding goals involves conscious selection of effort. Prioritize actions that produce the most significant outcomes and eliminate activities that consume time without advancing results. Avoid the distraction of public visibility, social comparison, and self-promotion until results are tangible. Energy is finite. Careful allocation is essential. When effort is concentrated on meaningful tasks, quality of execution improves and progress accelerates. Resist the urge to seek early validation. Early praise can create complacency, while criticism can undermine confidence. Neither serves the purpose of growth when goals are still in development. Silence preserves the autonomy of the work. By waiting until the goal is realized before sharing, the work has the opportunity to mature and demonstrate its true value. Success revealed in completion is far more compelling than words about intention or effort. Develop discipline in communication. When inquiries arise about progress, provide brief, neutral responses without detail. Statements like, "I'm focused on my work," or "I'm making steady progress," are sufficient. This maintains boundaries, preserves energy, and protects focus. Guarding goals is as much about controlling how and when information flows as it is about executing the work itself. Every interaction that could reveal unfinished plans is an opportunity to reinforce discipline. Guarded goals cultivate resilience. In a private framework, setbacks are personal lessons rather than public failures. Mistakes are absorbed, analyzed, and corrected without exposure to judgment. This environment allows experimentation and calculated risk-taking because the fear of public scrutiny is removed. Resilience grows quietly, reinforced by repeated cycles of effort, reflection, and correction. Success emerges from a foundation strengthened in private, far more durable than recognition-dependent confidence. Planning and execution gain clarity when goals are guarded. Public discussion often introduces noise, opinions, comparisons, and suggestions that can cloud judgment. By maintaining privacy, decisions are informed by data, observation, and personal standards, rather than external pressure. Each action is deliberate, and every resource is used intentionally. This precision ensures that progress is meaningful and measurable, creating a direct path from effort to result. Guarding goals enhances both efficiency and effectiveness. The habit of revealing only results transforms the perception of achievement. When outcomes are presented after completion, their impact is amplified. People naturally pay attention to results because they are undeniable, whereas intentions are abstract and open to interpretation. Work that emerges fully formed commands respect, credibility, and influence. This approach shifts focus from seeking approval to producing tangible, measurable value. Over time, the reputation built on actual accomplishments becomes a powerful lever for future opportunities. Celebrate milestones privately to sustain motivation. Internal acknowledgement fuels persistence without requiring external validation. Reflect on progress, recognize improvements, and assess lessons learned. Private celebration reinforces a sense of purpose, strengthens discipline, and provides emotional energy for the next stage of work. It also cultivates a mindset where motivation is self-sustaining rather than dependent on applause or recognition. Internal satisfaction creates a strong, consistent drive that continues regardless of outside attention. Guarding goals encourages long-term thinking. Immediate exposure tempts short-term gratification, while private pursuit allows planning and execution aligned with lasting impact. Work completed quietly and revealed later demonstrates consistency, mastery, and vision. The approach fosters patience and commitment, reducing impulsive decisions driven by desire for acknowledgement. When focus is maintained on meaningful objectives, the results naturally compound over time, creating momentum that is both sustainable and impressive. Build routines that reinforce privacy and precision. Allocate specific periods for deep work, reflection, and review. Treat these intervals as non-negotiable. Structure the environment to minimize interruptions and reduce the chance of accidental disclosure. The combination of habit, environment, and intentional effort reinforces the discipline necessary to guard goals effectively. Regular review sessions allow for course correction, fine-tuning and strategic adjustments without public exposure, ensuring progress remains efficient and intentional. Energy management is central to this approach. Conversations, social media, and unnecessary explanations drain mental and emotional resources. By limiting exposure, energy is conserved for tasks that matter most. Focusing energy on production rather than communication increases efficiency, enhances performance, and strengthens the quality of results. Work that is fueled by concentrated energy produces outcomes that are more precise, impactful, and meaningful than work diluted by external demands. Silence amplifies confidence. When goals are guarded and results are revealed only after achievement, credibility grows naturally. Others observe accomplishments without the noise of explanation or justification. This approach cultivates authority and influence grounded in reality, not rhetoric. Success becomes self-evident, and attention is drawn to competence rather than commentary. Over time, this method builds a reputation of reliability, skill, and strategic effectiveness that cannot be easily replicated by those who broadcast intentions prematurely. Begin applying this practice immediately. Identify a single goal, define it clearly, and protect it from external exposure. Commit to daily actions that move the goal forward. Track progress privately, and resist the temptation to announce intentions. Adjust strategies as needed, learn from setbacks in private, and maintain energy and focus for execution. Once the goal is achieved, reveal the outcome confidently and without embellishment. The impact will be far greater than if the process had been public from the start. Guarding goals and revealing only results is a strategy for sustained success, deep focus, and authentic achievement. It nurtures discipline, patience, resilience, and precision. By maintaining privacy, energy is preserved for meaningful work, mistakes are absorbed and corrected internally, and results emerge as undeniable evidence of capability. Over time, this approach cultivates mastery, influence, and credibility that are far more substantial than any temporary recognition gained through premature disclosure. True power lies in action, and action protected in silence produces results that speak louder than words ever could. Number 5. Discipline thrives in silent effort. Discipline is the foundation of achievement, yet it flourishes most effectively when cultivated away from the eyes of others. Silent effort allows actions to be rooted in intention rather than performance. The desire to be seen, praised, or recognized can distort priorities, dilute focus, and encourage shortcuts. True discipline emerges when effort is driven by commitment to improvement rather than external validation. When work is carried out quietly, each action builds resilience, skill, and momentum without distraction or interference. In this space, discipline becomes a habit rather than an occasional display. Start by understanding that consistency matters more than intensity. Sporadic bursts of effort, even if highly visible, fail to produce lasting change. Silent effort, on the other hand, builds compound results over time. Commit to daily practice, small but deliberate, in alignment with personal objectives. Whether it is learning a skill, advancing a project, or improving personal habits, the accumulation of repeated actions creates mastery. Each quiet hour spent on focused work strengthens self-control and reinforces the capacity to persist when motivation wanes. Prioritization is critical. Discipline thrives when actions are carefully selected to produce meaningful progress. Determine which tasks have the highest impact and dedicate sustained attention to them. Avoid the temptation to chase every opportunity for recognition or to react to distractions. Silent effort allows energy to be concentrated on what matters most, rather than dissipated across inconsequential activities. This deliberate allocation of attention ensures that progress is tangible and measurable. Rituals enhance the power of silent discipline. Establish routines that signal the mind and body that focused effort is expected. This might involve a specific time of day, a clean workspace, or preparatory actions that prepare mental clarity. Rituals reduce decision fatigue, eliminate hesitation, and embed consistency into daily life. Over time, these patterns strengthen self-regulation, making disciplined work automatic and resilient to external pressures or interruptions. Patience is an essential companion to silent effort. Real growth is often invisible at first. Progress accumulates beneath the surface, unseen by others, and sometimes unnoticed by oneself in the moment. Discipline requires trust in this process and a willingness to persist without immediate rewards or recognition. The quiet accumulation of skills, habits, and accomplishments compounds over time, creating outcomes far greater than what can be achieved through performative effort or short-term displays. Focus is sharpened in solitude. Working silently minimizes distractions and external influences, allowing the mind to engage fully with the task at hand. In this environment, cognitive energy is conserved and directed toward understanding, problem-solving, and refinement. Silent effort enables deep practice, the kind of work that strengthens both proficiency and confidence. Each uninterrupted session contributes to an increasing ability to execute complex tasks with precision and efficiency. Accountability must be internal. When effort is silent, the individual becomes responsible to themselves rather than to an audience. This internal accountability fosters resilience and integrity, as progress depends solely on personal commitment. Journaling progress, tracking milestones, and reflecting on performance in private creates a feedback loop that motivates continued effort. Internal monitoring ensures that discipline is maintained consistently, regardless of external circumstances. Resilience grows in silence because failures and setbacks are absorbed privately. There is no need for public justification or apology. Mistakes become opportunities for learning rather than moments of embarrassment. By confronting challenges away from observation, the individual can experiment, iterate, and improve without fear of judgment. This environment cultivates courage, adaptability, and problem-solving skills. Discipline strengthens when it is tested quietly and consistently. Energy management is central to thriving discipline. Every distraction, interruption, or conversation about progress drains focus. Silent effort protects cognitive resources, allowing energy to be invested fully in meaningful work. By controlling exposure to noise and external demands, the individual maximizes productivity and reinforces the habit of concentrated action. The quieter the effort, the more energy is available to refine skills, solve problems, and produce tangible results. Incremental improvement is the natural outcome of consistent silent work. Each small effort, repeated over days, weeks, and months, creates visible transformation. Rather than relying on dramatic displays or public declarations, growth becomes evident in the accumulation of skill, competence, and completed objectives. Discipline is strengthened because it is reinforced through consistent, measurable progress rather than through transient motivation or recognition. Avoid comparison and external validation. Measuring progress against others introduces unnecessary pressure, distraction, and potential discouragement. Silent effort focuses solely on self-improvement and internal standards. The aim is to outpace yesterday, not to impress today. By maintaining this inward orientation, discipline deepens, consistency improves, and the quality of results is elevated. Achievements emerge from personal commitment rather than external applause. Reflection is a tool to refine silent effort, After each work session, take time to evaluate what was accomplished, where energy was most effective, and which actions require adjustment. Use these insights to plan the next session strategically. Reflection strengthens discipline by embedding lessons learned into practice, creating a cycle of continuous improvement. The quieter the environment in which this reflection occurs, the more honest and precise the self-assessment becomes. Focus on mastery rather than immediate output. Discipline thrives when effort is aligned with long-term skill development and understanding rather than temporary gains. Each quiet hour spent practicing, analyzing, and iterating builds competence that is durable and applicable in a variety of contexts. Mastery emerges silently through repetition, attention to detail, and refinement, producing results that are robust and sustainable. Protect the work environment. The spaces where silent effort occurs should be designed to facilitate focus and minimize disruption. Physical, digital, and social environments all influence the quality of discipline. Remove distractions, organize materials, and limit unnecessary interactions during periods of effort. A controlled environment enhances concentration, reduces wasted energy, and reinforces the habit of dedicated work. Develop a mindset that values progress over recognition. Silent effort requires the ability to find satisfaction in the act of working itself, rather than in external affirmation. Each completed task, each refined skill, and each milestone achieved is a measure of growth. By cultivating pride in the process rather than the performance, discipline becomes intrinsic, sustainable, and self-reinforcing. The practice of silent effort strengthens decision-making. When actions are measured, intentional, and executed without the need to perform for others, clarity improves. Choices are guided by objective criteria, strategic priorities, and personal standards, rather than by emotional reactions or social pressures. This clarity enhances efficiency, reduces error, and ensures that each action contributes meaningfully to long-term goals. Account for mental resilience by embracing discomfort. Silent discipline often involves resisting impulses, delaying gratification, and tolerating solitude. These experiences build mental toughness, patience, and the ability to sustain effort even when motivation is low. The repetition of these controlled challenges strengthens self-regulation and enhances the capacity to maintain high performance over extended periods. Celebrate growth privately to sustain motivation. Recognizing progress internally reinforces commitment and satisfaction without the need for public acknowledgement. Documenting achievements, milestones, and lessons learned provides a tangible record of advancement and fuels the continuation of disciplined effort. Silent recognition allows energy to remain focused on the next step while reinforcing the psychological benefits of accomplishment. Silent effort cultivates an unshakable foundation for long-term success. Each small, intentional act performed without observation builds a cumulative advantage. Skills are honed, resilience is strengthened, and results eventually become evident through consistent achievement. Discipline becomes habitual, embedded in daily routines, and robust against distractions, external pressures, or fluctuating motivation. The path of silent effort emphasizes quality over quantity, consistency over spectacle, and mastery over appearance. By concentrating on meaningful action, managing energy effectively, reflecting honestly, and prioritizing internal standards, discipline thrives naturally. Outcomes emerge as a reflection of sustained, intentional work rather than temporary motivation or public approval. Begin integrating silent effort by identifying key tasks that directly contribute to goals, scheduling focused time to work on them, eliminating distractions, and maintaining accountability privately. Repeat the cycle daily, reflecting and adjusting as necessary. Over time, the accumulation of these quiet, deliberate actions produces significant growth, strengthened character, and results that demonstrate the power of disciplined effort executed without noise. Discipline thrives in silent effort because focus, consistency, and resilience are cultivated in the absence of external interference. Each quiet action reinforces the next, creating momentum that is invisible in the moment, but undeniable over time. The mastery, skill, and achievement that arise from this practice become self-evident, demonstrating that real progress does not need an audience. It only requires commitment, persistence, and the quiet dedication to see things through. Number 6. Protect dreams from early judgment. Dreams are delicate when exposed too early. The moment a vision is shared before it is fully formed, it becomes vulnerable to doubt, criticism, and external influence. People rarely offer feedback from a neutral standpoint. Opinions are shaped by their own fears, limitations, and experiences. Early judgment can derail momentum, introduce hesitation, and foster self-doubt. Protecting dreams is not about hiding ambition, but about creating space for ideas to mature, for plans to solidify, and for confidence to grow before facing scrutiny. By safeguarding the initial stages of vision, the energy dedicated to creation is preserved and directed entirely toward meaningful progress. The first step in protecting dreams is to establish clarity internally. Define the vision with specificity, detailing what success looks like, the steps required to reach it, and the potential obstacles along the way. Dreams left vague are more susceptible to interference because external voices can fill the gaps with assumptions or skepticism. When a dream is well articulated privately, it serves as a compass, guiding decisions, actions, and priorities without dependence on external validation. Clear internal definition transforms abstract desires into achievable objectives. Resist the urge to share aspirations for the sake of approval. Early exposure often stems from a need for affirmation or encouragement, but this reliance undermines self-reliance. Genuine confidence is built through internal validation and consistent action, not through applause or agreement from others. By keeping dreams private until they are more fully realized, effort is directed toward building competence and strategy rather than persuading others of potential. Silence in the early stages protects both motivation and focus. Create a structured approach to developing dreams before revealing them. Break each dream into smaller, actionable objectives that can be pursued independently. Treat each milestone as an experiment. Test strategies, iterate, and refine before introducing the broader vision to anyone. This method reduces the risk of external judgment, impacting creativity or decision-making. When steps are validated internally, confidence increases, and the eventual presentation of the dream becomes grounded in results rather than mere promise. Guarding dreams also requires discipline in social interactions. Not every conversation about ambitions serves a constructive purpose. Politely redirect questions or provide neutral responses without revealing unfinished plans. This protects the mental space needed for focus and prevents energy from being wasted on justifying, defending, or persuading others. Boundaries around communication allow for sustained momentum and reduce vulnerability to criticism that is premature or uninformed. Internal accountability is a critical component of protecting dreams. Maintain a system for tracking progress, noting completed tasks, and documenting lessons learned privately. This creates tangible evidence of growth and improvement, without exposing the vision to external evaluation. Private accountability encourages consistency and self-discipline, reinforcing commitment to the dream even when external recognition is absent. Over time, this internal record becomes a source of motivation and clarity. Patience is essential when dreams are nurtured in private. The initial stages of creation often feel invisible, and progress may appear slow or unremarkable. Trust in the process and the cumulative effect of deliberate action. Small steps, repeated consistently, compound into substantial advancement. Silence allows these incremental gains to accumulate undisturbed, building a foundation for eventual presentation that is credible, impressive, and resilient to judgment. Resilience grows naturally when dreams are protected from early scrutiny. Setbacks, failures, and mistakes are absorbed internally and analyzed objectively. Without the pressure of external observation, experiments can be undertaken boldly and lessons can be integrated effectively. The ability to confront challenges privately strengthens both skill and confidence. By the time the dream is revealed, it has been tested, refined, and fortified against criticism, creating a more reliable path to success. Energy management is crucial in the protection of dreams. Conversations, social media commentary, and unsolicited advice can drain focus and fragment attention. Reserve mental and emotional resources for creation rather than explanation. Prioritize environments and activities that support concentration and creativity. The quieter the process, the more energy is available for strategic thinking, skill building, and execution. Protecting dreams requires deliberate investment of effort in productive work rather than external validation. Visualization can enhance the internal development of dreams. Mentally rehearsing scenarios, anticipating challenges, and imagining successful outcomes strengthens planning and readiness. By rehearsing privately, confidence is reinforced, strategies are clarified, and potential pitfalls are identified before public exposure. This mental preparation ensures that the dream is not only protected, but also developed with foresight and precision. Silent visualization complements action, creating an integrated approach to progress. Avoid comparison during the early stages of pursuit. Observing others' successes or failures can distort perception and invite premature judgment. Focus on the unique trajectory of the dream, evaluating progress against internal standards rather than external benchmarks. Protecting dreams requires cultivating a mindset oriented toward growth and personal benchmarks. Each step forward is a reflection of effort and learning, independent of external noise. Iteration is a natural outcome of private development. Testing ideas quietly, analyzing results, and refining strategies enhances both quality and resilience. Without exposure, iterations can be executed freely, and adjustments can be made without concern for perception. The process of quiet refinement strengthens problem solving, sharpens judgment, and builds confidence. By the time a dream is revealed, it reflects thoughtful evolution and careful attention rather than a raw, untested concept. The timing of revelation matters. Goals and dreams should only be shared when evidence of progress, competence, and strategy is apparent. Public disclosure too early invites premature scrutiny and potential sabotage, intentional or unintentional. Revealing a dream at the right moment maximizes credibility, influence, and impact. The work itself becomes the strongest argument, demonstrating value without the need for persuasion. Discipline and focus are strengthened through the practice of private development. Protecting dreams requires consistent, deliberate effort, resisting distractions, and maintaining clarity of purpose. Each day of concentrated work builds both skill and confidence, reinforcing the capacity to sustain effort even in the face of challenges or delays. Silent persistence fosters the self-reliance necessary to navigate obstacles without dependence on external approval. Reflection reinforces the process. Regularly reviewing actions, evaluating progress, and assessing potential improvements enhances both strategy and execution. Reflection performed in private ensures honest assessment and actionable insight. This practice embeds lessons, strengthens foresight, and fosters adaptability. Silent analysis allows adjustments to be implemented efficiently and effectively, further protecting the integrity of the dream. Trust in the process is essential. Protecting dreams involves accepting that visible recognition may not be immediate, and that progress may remain unnoticed for some time. The focus remains on action, skill development, and refinement. Confidence is reinforced through results achieved internally, without reliance on external acknowledgement. This trust underpins resilience, motivation, and sustained momentum. Boundaries are necessary for sustained protection. Limit exposure to individuals or situations that could introduce negativity or distraction. Surround yourself with environments and routines that encourage focus, creativity, and disciplined effort. By controlling inputs, the dream remains untainted by external pressures, and energy is concentrated on meaningful progress. Celebrate private victories to maintain motivation. Internal acknowledgement of milestones, improvements, and lessons learned strengthens commitment and reinforces positive habits. These celebrations fuel persistence, encourage further effort, and deepen satisfaction derived from the process itself. Motivation becomes intrinsic, reliable, and resilient to external fluctuations. Protecting dreams from early judgment creates an environment where vision, effort, and skill can mature uninterrupted. The combination of clarity, internal accountability, disciplined action, iteration, and reflection ensures that when a dream is eventually revealed, it is credible, compelling, and resilient. Momentum is preserved, energy is maximized, and the foundation for long-term success is solidified. Begin by identifying the dream, defining it privately, breaking it into actionable steps, and establishing routines that encourage focus and minimize distractions. Track progress internally, iterate quietly, and reflect on lessons learned. Avoid premature disclosure, resist the pull of comparison, and cultivate patience, resilience, and discipline. Over time, the accumulation of silent, deliberate effort transforms the dream into a tangible reality capable of standing on its own merit. Protecting dreams from early judgment ensures that energy, creativity, and determination are applied where they are most effective. When effort is deliberate, focused, and free from external interference, progress becomes inevitable. By the time the dream is revealed, it carries weight, credibility, and influence that could not have been achieved under public scrutiny. This practice cultivates mastery, resilience, and confidence, demonstrating that the most powerful achievements are often forged quietly, away from judgment, until they are ready to be seen and appreciated. Number 7. Energy grows stronger in solitude. Solitude is not emptiness. It is a space where energy can be cultivated, concentrated, and strengthened. The distractions of the outside world fragment focus, scatter attention, and drain mental resources. When individuals immerse themselves in solitude, they create an environment where thoughts can develop without interruption, decisions can be refined, and action can be directed with maximum efficiency. Energy, when nurtured in isolation, becomes sharper, more deliberate, and capable of sustained application. It is in these quiet moments that potential is transformed into actual power, because the mind is free from noise, expectation, and unnecessary influence. The first step in harnessing solitude is intentional separation. This is not merely being alone, but purposefully structuring time and space to remove distractions and external demands. Silence and isolation provide clarity, allowing one to focus on the tasks, goals, and strategies that truly matter. In solitude, mental energy is no longer consumed by social obligations, notifications, or the constant comparison to others. Instead, it can be invested fully in creative problem-solving, skill development, and deliberate action. This concentrated effort is what transforms raw ability into measurable results. Solitude allows reflection on personal patterns and habits. By observing thoughts and behaviors without external influence, individuals can identify inefficiencies, unproductive tendencies, and areas for growth. The quiet environment fosters deep self-awareness, which is the foundation for improved decision-making and strategic planning. Energy is conserved because actions become intentional rather than reactive. Every decision, every task, and every focus point is informed by insight rather than impulse, which amplifies productivity and effectiveness. Concentration strengthens in isolation. Tasks that require sustained attention, creativity, or complex problem-solving are best approached without interruptions. Multitasking, constant messaging, and external feedback dilute energy and reduce efficiency. Solitude provides the mental space necessary to think deeply, iterate solutions, and develop nuanced strategies. The capacity for uninterrupted focus grows with practice, and over time, this concentrated energy becomes a natural resource that can be applied to any challenge or project. Solitude also nurtures emotional resilience. When removed from external validation or criticism, individuals learn to rely on their own judgment and standards. The energy that might otherwise be diverted toward managing perceptions, responding to opinions, or seeking approval is redirected toward productive action. Challenges are met with internal strength rather than external reassurance. This self-reliance not only increases the power of sustained effort, but also builds confidence in one's abilities and decisions. Routine is critical in maximizing the energy cultivated through solitude. Deliberate schedules that allocate focused periods for deep work enhance consistency and ensure that time spent alone is productive. Establishing rituals such as morning planning, uninterrupted work blocks, or evening reflection anchors energy in purposeful activity. By embedding structure into solitary time, individuals reinforce discipline, maintain momentum, and ensure that mental resources are not wasted on indecision or distraction. Physical environment amplifies the effects of solitude. A space designed to minimize interruptions, clutter, and external noise supports mental clarity and focus. Simple adjustments, such as controlling lighting, reducing digital distractions, or creating comfortable and organized surroundings, allow energy to flow uninterrupted. When the environment aligns with the goal of concentrated effort, the mind can work at its highest capacity, producing results that would be difficult to achieve in chaotic or crowded conditions. Energy in solitude grows stronger because it is nurtured through deliberate reflection and practice. The mind can engage in deep thinking, rehearsal, and problem-solving without the fragmentation that social interaction often brings. By practicing skills, planning strategies, and refining approaches in isolation, individuals create a reservoir of focused energy that can be applied effectively when action is required. Solitude is not stagnation, it is the active cultivation of potential into tangible capability. Internal dialogue becomes more productive in solitude. Without the noise of outside opinions, the mind can evaluate choices critically, explore alternatives thoroughly, and anticipate challenges with clarity. Self-talk and internal reasoning become sharper tools, guiding actions with precision. Energy that would otherwise be spent justifying or negotiating externally is instead applied to enhancing performance, refining skills, and advancing goals. The quality of effort improves because it is informed entirely by deliberate, thoughtful consideration. The discipline developed in solitude is unparalleled. Without constant validation or observation, individuals learn to maintain momentum solely based on internal motivation. This fosters an enduring sense of responsibility for outcomes and strengthens commitment to long-term objectives. Energy is preserved because actions are guided by purpose rather than by the need to impress, explain, or entertain. Over time, this internal discipline enhances productivity, consistency, and the capacity to achieve ambitious goals. Innovation thrives in solitude. Creative breakthroughs often emerge when the mind is allowed to wander freely, undisturbed by external expectations. Ideas can be explored fully, tested mentally, and refined before being implemented or shared. The energy invested in solitary experimentation compounds into insights and solutions that are robust, novel, and practical. Isolation, therefore, is not a limitation, but a catalyst for ingenuity and strategic advantage. Solitude strengthens focus by minimizing comparison. In isolation, there is no need to measure progress against the achievements of others, or to perform according to external standards. Energy is instead devoted to internal benchmarks and personal growth. Progress becomes intrinsic, driven by standards that are meaningful and relevant to one's goals. This orientation preserves mental and emotional energy while fostering sustained commitment to improvement and mastery. Emotional and mental energy are reinforced through introspection. Solitude allows time to process experiences, consolidate learning, and internalize lessons without distraction. The mind can integrate insights from work, practice, and reflection, resulting in a more coherent approach to future challenges. By developing this internal ecosystem of energy, clarity, and focus, individuals cultivate resilience that allows sustained performance even in high-pressure or uncertain circumstances. Solitude also fosters strategic thinking. With fewer external pressures, it is possible to consider options, anticipate outcomes, and plan sequences of action with greater depth. Each decision can be weighed carefully, and contingencies can be anticipated without haste or distraction. Energy is applied to foresight rather than reaction, creating a framework where choices are intentional and outcomes are maximized. The capacity for precise, high-level strategic thinking grows naturally in quiet, focused isolation. Small, consistent actions taken in solitude accumulate into substantial progress. Repetition, reflection, and refinement performed quietly build skill, confidence, and momentum. The compounding effect of these efforts becomes evident over time, producing results that appear effortless to observers, but are grounded in sustained, focused effort. Energy in solitude is not wasted. It is amplified through deliberate, repeated practice that strengthens both ability and resolve. Time in solitude reinforces the ability to resist distractions. The capacity to maintain attention on meaningful tasks, even in the absence of external oversight, strengthens focus and self-control. Energy becomes a renewable resource, applied intelligently rather than squandered on trivial concerns. This disciplined management of attention and effort is essential for achieving significant objectives, especially in competitive or complex environments. Celebrate personal growth internally to maintain motivation. Reflect on improvements, progress, and milestones privately to fuel continued effort. By valuing self-assessment over external acknowledgement, energy remains directed toward creation rather than recognition. This intrinsic motivation enhances resilience and reinforces the habit of consistent, focused work in solitude. Begin harnessing solitude by identifying periods where uninterrupted focus is possible. Remove distractions, define clear objectives, and engage in deep, deliberate work. Incorporate reflection, skill practice, and strategic planning into these sessions. Over time, the energy developed through these solitary practices will increase capacity for focus, enhance creativity, and strengthen the ability to execute ambitious goals. Energy grows stronger in solitude because it is concentrated, refined, and applied without interference. Each quiet hour builds skill, resilience, and strategic insight. Solitude nurtures clarity of thought, depth of focus, and the mental strength necessary to pursue meaningful objectives consistently. By valuing isolation as a tool for cultivation rather than a lack of activity, potential transforms into results, and effort becomes a wellspring of unstoppable energy that fuels accomplishment, mastery, and long-term success. Number 8. Prove worth through consistent output. Worth is not declared through words or intentions. It is demonstrated through consistent action and measurable achievement. People may offer praise, encouragement, or opinions, but true recognition is earned when results are produced reliably over time. Output serves as a tangible measure of competence, commitment, and skill. Those who understand this principle focus less on explaining their intentions and more on delivering value, knowing that credibility is built incrementally through steady, purposeful work. Consistency transforms potential into evidence, and repeated actions become the proof that others cannot dispute. Consistency begins with clarity of purpose. Understand exactly what you want to achieve and what standards define success. Without clear benchmarks, output becomes aimless and ineffective. Goals should be specific, measurable, and actionable, allowing each action to be evaluated objectively. When standards are defined, every effort contributes to tangible progress, and every achievement reinforces competence. This clarity enables focus, reduces wasted effort, and provides a framework for disciplined execution over the long term. Develop habits that reinforce daily output. The reliability of work is built not in bursts of effort, but through routine. Identify critical tasks that directly advance objectives and commit to completing them consistently. This might involve scheduling work at set times, creating structured workflows, or breaking larger goals into smaller, manageable actions. Regular output strengthens skills, builds momentum, and gradually compounds into substantial achievement. The habit of showing up and delivering produces results that speak louder than any promise or explanation. Tracking progress is essential to proving worth. Document accomplishments, completed tasks, and milestones privately to evaluate growth objectively. This record allows for assessment of consistency, identifies patterns of productivity, and highlights areas for improvement. Reflection transforms repetitive effort into informed action, allowing each step to contribute more effectively to overall goals. Consistency, without measurement, can create a false sense of accomplishment, but tracking ensures that output is meaningful and aligned with desired outcomes. Prioritize quality alongside quantity. Output is only valuable when it reflects competence, attention to detail, and strategic thought. Producing work consistently is important, but maintaining high standards ensures that results are credible, respected, and impactful. Balance speed with precision, ensuring that each product of effort demonstrates skill and thoughtfulness. This approach reinforces reputation, builds trust, and solidifies the perception of worth through reliable excellence. Discipline is the engine behind consistent output. Motivation fluctuates, and without discipline, performance becomes irregular and unreliable. Commit to action regardless of mood, circumstance, or external validation. Discipline ensures that each day contributes to the cumulative result, maintaining momentum when energy is low or challenges arise. Over time, this regularity becomes self-reinforcing, as repeated success strengthens confidence, skill, and the ability to deliver continuously. Avoid the trap of talking about intentions more than executing them. Publicizing plans prematurely often invites distractions, criticism, and misaligned expectations. Consistent output eliminates the need for explanations, Actions demonstrate capability far more convincingly than words ever could. Those who focus on producing tangible results develop credibility naturally, earning respect through achievement rather than assertion. Every completed task is evidence of competence and commitment. Set realistic, actionable goals that can be achieved regularly. Large, abstract ambitions are difficult to prove through output because they lack immediate measurable steps. Break objectives into smaller tasks that can be executed daily or weekly, ensuring continual forward motion. Each accomplishment contributes to the perception of value, reinforcing a track record of productivity and capability. The accumulation of these consistent actions transcends abstract potential into undeniable proof of worth. Internal accountability enhances the reliability of output, creates systems to monitor performance, track progress, and assess the quality of work. Relying on external validation for motivation weakens discipline and introduces inconsistency. Self-monitoring allows for proactive correction, continuous improvement, and strategic allocation of effort. By holding oneself responsible for producing meaningful work consistently, competence and reputation grow naturally over time. Adversity is inevitable, and consistent output proves worth, particularly during challenging circumstances. Difficult conditions, obstacles and setbacks separate those who are committed from those who are inconsistent. Reliability under pressure demonstrates resilience, adaptability, and mastery. Producing results despite difficulty highlights competence in a way that words or intentions cannot replicate. The ability to maintain output during adversity creates a strong perception of skill and value that cannot be ignored. Time management is critical in sustaining consistent output. Allocate attention to tasks that provide the highest return on effort and minimize engagement in low-impact activities. Energy is finite, and prioritization ensures that every moment contributes meaningfully to goals. Efficient use of time enhances both the quantity and quality of output, reinforcing the demonstration of worth through tangible results. Continuous improvement reinforces credibility. Each completed action should be analyzed for effectiveness, efficiency, and potential refinement. Consistency combined with incremental improvement demonstrates not only competence, but also growth. Output that evolves over time becomes stronger, more valuable, and increasingly difficult to challenge. This approach ensures that worth is proven not just through repetition, but through refinement and mastery. Visibility is not required to prove worth, but strategic presentation of results amplifies impact. Once achievements are substantial, sharing them communicates value without compromising focus or effort. Let accomplishments speak for themselves rather than promoting intentions or unfinished work. Timing and context of presentation maximize credibility and influence, reinforcing the proof built silently through consistent action. Energy management enhances reliability. Focused effort requires the preservation of mental, emotional, and physical resources. Avoid unnecessary distractions, limit engagements that do not contribute to objectives, and dedicate energy to meaningful production. Sustained output depends on maintaining the reserves necessary to perform consistently, ensuring that results are delivered regardless of external noise or temporary obstacles. Patience is a core component of demonstrating worth. Recognition rarely occurs immediately. Continuous output builds credibility gradually. As patterns of achievement emerge over time, trust is earned through reliability, and repeated demonstration of competence strengthens perception more effectively than isolated, sporadic accomplishments. The combination of patience, consistency, and quality amplifies long-term influence and authority. Collaboration can enhance output, but individual accountability remains paramount. Contributing meaningfully to collective goals requires reliability, initiative, and consistent performance. By maintaining personal standards and demonstrating competence independently, value is reinforced both within teams and in broader contexts. Others take notice when contributions are steady, dependable, and of high quality. Habits are the framework that sustain ongoing output. Design routines that embed work into daily life, reducing reliance on motivation and minimizing decision fatigue. Habits of focus, preparation, and reflection ensure that each day contributes to measurable results. Over time, these routines transform effort from a conscious struggle into an automatic mechanism for proving worth consistently. Resilience and adaptability increase with repeated output. Each task completed provides insight, strengthens skill, and prepares the individual to face more complex challenges. By continuously producing work, capability is reinforced, and competence becomes both demonstrable and scalable. The cycle of action, reflection, and improvement solidifies reputation and authority over time. Begin implementing consistent output by defining clear goals, creating structured routines, and committing to measurable daily actions. Track progress privately, evaluate results, and refine processes as needed. Focus on quality, sustain discipline, and avoid distractions that do not contribute to objectives. Gradually, the accumulation of repeated, high-quality work establishes undeniable proof of capability, reliability, and value. Proving worth through consistent output transforms potential into credibility, intention into achievement, and effort into evidence. Words and promises cannot substitute for the tangible results generated through persistent, disciplined action. Over time, patterns of consistent production demonstrate mastery, resilience, and reliability, creating a reputation built on accomplishments rather than assertion. The silent, steady commitment to delivering results becomes the clearest and most compelling measure of true worth. Number 9. Privacy protects progress from envy. Progress is fragile when exposed too early. Sharing achievements, plans, or ambitions prematurely can invite envy, criticism, and interference. Not all attention is constructive. Some responses are rooted in insecurity, jealousy, or competition. Privacy acts as a protective shield, ensuring that effort, strategy, and development are preserved for the individual pursuing the goal. By maintaining confidentiality around progress, energy is conserved, distractions are minimized, and focus remains intact. This principle is not about secrecy for fear of judgment. It is about creating the optimal environment for growth, where results can flourish unimpeded and integrity is maintained. Start by recognizing the subtle ways envy manifests. Comments that question motives, undermine confidence, or compare progress can subtly divert attention and energy. Exposure to these influences can create hesitation, second-guessing, and unnecessary stress. Protecting progress through privacy minimizes the psychological impact of others' perceptions, allowing work to advance based solely on merit and personal standards. The mind remains centered, strategic decisions are unclouded, and output is focused on tangible results rather than appeasing or defending against external opinions. Privacy begins with clear boundaries. Not every conversation requires disclosure of plans, intentions, or milestones. Decide in advance what information is essential to share and what should remain confidential. This approach creates mental space to pursue objectives without the weight of unsolicited advice, critique, or interference. Boundaries preserve both energy and motivation, ensuring that progress is directed entirely toward the work itself rather than toward managing perception. Internal tracking strengthens private progress. Maintain personal records of achievements, timelines, and reflections that are not exposed to others. These records provide accountability, allow evaluation of growth, and highlight areas for improvement. Private tracking ensures that momentum is sustained without reliance on external validation, while also safeguarding progress from potential sabotage or envy-driven interference. Each step forward is documented, valued, and actionable, creating a clear path of advancement. Envy often arises from misunderstanding or incomplete information. By limiting visibility, the potential for misinterpretation is minimized. Progress revealed prematurely can be met with assumptions about ease, luck, or unfair advantage, which may provoke resentment. Privacy ensures that results are judged based on merit and actual achievement, rather than perception or rumor. This approach protects both emotional well-being and strategic advantage, allowing focus to remain on productive action rather than defending or explaining. Focus improves when progress is guarded. Distractions created by external scrutiny can fragment attention and reduce efficiency. Social pressure to justify actions or respond to commentary diverts energy from creation to communication. Maintaining privacy enables uninterrupted work, sharper concentration, and deeper engagement with tasks. The momentum of focused effort builds quickly when attention is protected, and results emerge more consistently and effectively. Resilience is cultivated in private work. When progress is shielded from observation, mistakes and setbacks are absorbed internally and addressed strategically. There is no need for public justification or performance, allowing learning to occur without stress or embarrassment. Challenges become opportunities for refinement, and confidence grows as solutions are tested and implemented quietly. Privacy creates a safe environment to experiment, innovate, and refine skills, producing stronger outcomes over time. Strategic thinking benefits from limited exposure. Decisions can be made based on data, analysis, and foresight rather than on external expectations or opinions. Privacy allows the development of plans that are comprehensive, deliberate, and unhurried. The ability to evaluate risks, adjust strategies, and refine approaches without distraction or pressure ensures that actions are precise, effective, and impactful. By minimizing the influence of outside voices, progress is protected and optimized. Privacy reinforces intrinsic motivation. Without constant attention from others, individuals rely on their own standards and drive to maintain momentum. Each achievement, however small, becomes a personal reward rather than a tool for approval. This internal motivation is more sustainable, resilient, and powerful than external validation. It ensures that work is performed for meaningful outcomes rather than for recognition, allowing focus to remain on progress and mastery rather than on impression management. Timing of disclosure matters. Sharing progress too early can attract envy, sabotage, or misaligned expectations. Waiting until tangible results are achieved ensures that recognition aligns with actual performance. When results are revealed at the right moment, they command attention, respect, and credibility, rather than inviting criticism or doubt. Privacy protects not only the effort, but also the eventual impact, amplifying influence and ensuring that achievements are appreciated fully. Energy management is central to maintaining progress. Social interactions, feedback, and commentary, even when well-intentioned, consume attention and emotional resources. By limiting exposure and preserving privacy, mental and emotional energy can be concentrated on execution rather than communication. This ensures that effort is applied directly to creating results, accelerating progress, and strengthening competence. Consistency thrives in private environments. Daily work, skill building, and incremental improvement can be sustained without the distraction of outside opinion. Habitual, uninterrupted effort produces tangible outcomes over time. Each step forward reinforces confidence and expertise, creating a cycle of growth that is protected from interruption or interference. The compounding effect of consistent private effort often surpasses visible but sporadic public attempts. Accountability and privacy is self-directed. Tracking goals, progress and milestones internally ensures reliability without dependency on external monitoring. Self-accountability fosters discipline, encourages reflection, and enables timely course correction. Private accountability reinforces ownership over results, cultivating responsibility and reinforcing the link between effort and achievement. This independence strengthens both skill and character. Focus on quality of work, not on appearances. When progress is shielded from others, there is no pressure to exaggerate, embellish, or perform. The attention is directed entirely toward creating meaningful, tangible results. Each task is approached with care and precision, ensuring that output reflects capability and dedication rather than superficial impression. Quality output generates lasting impact, while premature exposure risks distortion or envy-driven disruption. Solitude enhances problem-solving. Working without the influence of competing opinions or external noise allows for deeper analysis, creative exploration, and strategic thinking. Challenges can be approached methodically, solutions tested quietly, and adjustments implemented without interference. The energy conserved through privacy is redirected into innovation, skill refinement, and effective execution. Over time, this approach compounds into superior outcomes and demonstrates the value of disciplined focus. Guarding progress fosters emotional stability. By limiting exposure to criticism or envy, stress is reduced and confidence remains intact. Individuals can engage fully with tasks, make decisions based on evidence, and maintain a positive mindset without external pressure. Emotional energy, protected through privacy, enhances productivity, creativity, and strategic judgment. It allows the individual to respond to challenges with clarity and resilience. Reflection strengthens progress in privacy. Regular assessment of actions, outcomes, and strategies allows continuous improvement without external influence. Observing trends, identifying strengths, and addressing weaknesses internally ensures that each step contributes effectively to overall goals. Private reflection encourages honest evaluation, leading to better decisions and more efficient execution. Long-term goals are safeguarded through privacy. By shielding aspirations and progress from outside interference, the risk of sabotage, discouragement, or misalignment is minimized. Energy can be invested entirely in forward motion rather than in defense or explanation. Privacy enables the cultivation of momentum, expertise, and resilience that will sustain achievement over time. Celebrate progress internally to maintain motivation. Recognizing accomplishments, milestones, and growth privately strengthens commitment and reinforces the value of work. Internal acknowledgement fuels persistence, encourages further effort, and cultivates satisfaction derived from achievement rather than from public approval. Motivation becomes self-sustaining and reliable, independent of external opinion. Begin applying this principle by reviewing current goals and identifying areas where exposure could create risk or distraction. Limit disclosure to essential information, create private systems for accountability and reflection, and protect mental and emotional energy for productive work. Focus on incremental progress, consistent effort, and skill development while maintaining discretion. Over time, this approach shields achievements from envy, maximizes momentum, and ensures that results are realized on personal terms. Privacy protects progress from envy by creating an environment where focus, energy, and effort are applied efficiently and without interference. Achievements develop undisturbed, strategies are refined privately, and skills are honed without distraction. By maintaining discretion, the individual ensures that results are earned, credible and impactful. The combination of internal accountability, consistent work and strategic silence transforms effort into tangible success, demonstrating that progress protected in privacy is often stronger, more resilient and ultimately more influential than work exposed prematurely to judgment or envy. Number 10. Success rewards the unseen grind. Success is rarely a product of sudden luck or visible effort. It is the result of countless hours of consistent work, focused attention, and disciplined action that often go unnoticed by others. The grind, the daily commitment to improvement, learning and execution, is the engine that powers achievement. While the world may only see the final outcome, the unseen labor that precedes it is what creates the foundation for lasting success. Every small, deliberate step, every repetition, and every correction compounds quietly, building momentum that eventually manifests in results that seem effortless to the observer, but are rooted in sustained effort. Understanding the value of unseen effort requires shifting focus from recognition to execution. Many individuals fall into the trap of seeking validation before they have completed meaningful work. Public acknowledgement is tempting, but it can dilute focus and divert energy from the tasks that matter most. Success favors those who are willing to prioritize action over applause, who work with persistence when no one is watching, and who maintain commitment regardless of immediate feedback. This internal motivation becomes the fuel for long-term achievement. The unseen grind demands consistency. Sporadic effort cannot produce the depth of skill, knowledge, or results that continuous application generates. Success is cumulative, built incrementally over time through repeated actions, even when progress seems invisible. Each practice session, each problem solved, each skill refined, contributes to a reservoir of competence that compounds quietly. When accumulated, these unseen actions create an advantage that cannot be matched by sporadic bursts of effort or superficial activity. Preparation underlies the unseen grind. Those who achieve remarkable outcomes often appear to act effortlessly, but this illusion masks months or years of preparation. Deep work, reflection, and experimentation all occur outside the public eye. By dedicating time to deliberate practice, strategy, and skill building, individuals position themselves to capitalize on opportunities when they arise. Preparation ensures that when a moment of visibility or opportunity occurs, execution is precise, confident, and effective, reflecting the depth of the hidden work that preceded it. Patience is essential in honoring the unseen grind. Success rarely arrives on a predictable timetable. The accumulation of effort requires enduring commitment, often without immediate reward. Moments of doubt, slow progress, or apparent stagnation are part of the process. Maintaining focus during these periods is what separates those who ultimately achieve from those who abandon effort too early. Trust in the process and belief in the value of consistent work enable resilience, allowing momentum to build quietly until results emerge. Discipline sustains the hidden effort. Motivation fluctuates, but discipline ensures that work continues regardless of mood, circumstance, or external recognition. Creating routines, setting priorities, and adhering to structured habits are the mechanisms that enable sustained action over time. Each disciplined step strengthens capability and reinforces a pattern of achievement that compounds unseen until it produces visible outcomes. Discipline ensures that energy is applied strategically rather than dissipated through inconsistency or distraction. Reflection and iteration enhance the effectiveness of unseen work. Each completed task provides an opportunity to evaluate what is working, what needs refinement, and how processes can be optimized. By analyzing outcomes quietly and adjusting strategies accordingly, progress accelerates without the need for public scrutiny. This reflective process strengthens skill, sharpens judgment, and ensures that effort produces meaningful results when it is eventually recognized. The unseen grind develops resilience. Facing setbacks, failures, and challenges privately allows individuals to learn without pressure or judgment. Mistakes become tools for growth rather than public embarrassment, and lessons are integrated more effectively. This environment fosters mental toughness, emotional stability, and a problem-solving mindset that equips individuals to navigate larger challenges as they arise. Success is often the reward for those who have endured the trials of private effort with persistence and composure. Focus thrives in the absence of external observation. Working without the expectation of immediate recognition allows energy to be directed entirely toward the task at hand. Cognitive resources are applied to solving problems, refining techniques, and executing strategies. The mind is free to explore, experiment, and innovate without distraction or influence. This concentrated application of effort builds competence that becomes apparent only through results, not rhetoric or appearances. Skill acquisition is accelerated through unseen practice. Mastery requires repetition, experimentation, and continuous learning, all of which benefit from a private environment where errors can be made safely and adjustments implemented without external scrutiny. The process of refining ability, honing techniques, and expanding knowledge often takes place behind the scenes, gradually producing competence that can eventually be displayed confidently and convincingly. Confidence emerges from repeated unseen effort. The individual who has invested hours of preparation, practice, and reflection develops a deep sense of capability. This confidence is not dependent on external approval but is grounded in tangible progress and skill. When results become visible, this self-assurance manifests naturally, allowing execution to appear effortless and inspiring credibility that is rooted in actual competence. Strategic thinking is enhanced through hidden work. By dedicating private time to planning, analysis, and scenario evaluation, individuals can develop comprehensive strategies without pressure or interference. Quiet contemplation allows for anticipation of challenges, identification of opportunities, and refinement of approaches. This thoughtful preparation ensures that actions are purposeful and effective when implementation occurs, magnifying the impact of the effort that was previously unseen. Energy management is critical in sustaining the unseen grind. Protecting focus, avoiding distractions, and conserving mental resources allow individuals to work more efficiently and effectively. The capacity to maintain high levels of performance over extended periods depends on disciplined allocation of time and attention. Privacy and control over the environment enable the concentration necessary to achieve consistent, meaningful results. Accountability in the unseen grind is self-directed. External validation is unreliable, but self-monitoring, reflection, and evaluation provide a clear measure of progress. Tracking achievements, reviewing outcomes, and adjusting tactics internally ensures that effort is both consistent and productive. Personal accountability reinforces discipline, strengthens skill, and ensures that results accumulate quietly until they are revealed in tangible success. Incremental progress compounds over time. Each small, deliberate action contributes to larger outcomes. Repeated practice, refinement, and learning, even when unnoticed, create a cumulative advantage. When results eventually become visible, they are disproportionately significant compared to the apparent effort, because they are the product of sustained, focused work over time. The unseen grind transforms ordinary steps into extraordinary achievement. Persistence is rewarded. Many individuals abandon efforts when immediate results are lacking, or when progress is invisible to others. Those who continue working diligently, even without recognition, develop a foundation of competence, experience, and readiness that allows them to excel when opportunities arise. The unseen grind cultivates the stamina and resilience necessary to endure challenges and produce extraordinary outcomes that appear sudden but are deeply rooted in sustained effort. The discipline of unseen work cultivates humility. True effort is rarely about public acknowledgement, but about personal mastery, improvement, and achievement. Humility encourages continued learning, adaptability, and resilience, reinforcing the cycle of preparation, execution, and reflection that underpins long-term success. This grounded approach ensures that recognition, when it arrives, is both deserved and sustainable. Begin harnessing the unseen grind by identifying meaningful tasks, dedicating structured time for execution, and committing to consistent, disciplined effort. Track progress privately, reflect on outcomes, and adjust strategies to improve results. Avoid the temptation to seek validation prematurely, focusing instead on building skills, competence, and momentum that will eventually produce tangible success. Over time, the cumulative effect of hidden work becomes undeniable, demonstrating that results are earned through sustained, disciplined action rather than performance or visibility. Success rewards the unseen grind because it is built on preparation, discipline, reflection, and relentless effort. Each step taken privately contributes to competence, resilience, and readiness that eventually produces visible, impactful results. Those who embrace the quiet, continuous work develop skill, confidence, and momentum that cannot be replicated through short-term bursts of effort or attention-seeking. Recognition follows performance, and performance follows dedication. The unseen grind is the invisible engine behind every achievement, proving that lasting success is always rooted in sustained, deliberate action.